What is up, guys? McIntyre here, bringing you the newest solo queue tier list video and overview for the Dehaka patch. Just this quick note before I start. It is early in the morning. I'm still pretty jet lagged, even though it's been about a week. I'm still pretty jet lagged. My schedule is, funny enough, is back to normal. But normal for me living on the east is bad when I have teammates on the west. So as you can see, it's 8:20 in the morning. I normally would sleep until noon. I would almost be going to sleep at this time. But yeah, so my schedule's a little different. So I figured I might as well use this time to pump out some videos for you guys. But I've had a few days, like 4 now, to play solo queue. With the Dehaka patch, and this is kind of where I'm at so far. So just going into the patch, not much has actually changed as far as the meta goes. The big changes are the change to block, the buff to Illidan, and the buff to Sylvanas. Those are the ones that are notable to me. As you can tell, Tychus and Gazlo, although buffed, are kind of still weak. I also kind of mess with Kel'Thas a little bit. I still don't really know where he's at. With Chain Bomb being built in, he's still pretty good, but his wave clear is a bit weaker. It gets offset by 16 talent, but I'll just kind of go into it. And I'll kind of give you some kind of fill in the voids here. So the tier 1s, like I said, a lot of it has stayed the same. When you look at warriors, Murden and ETC are still the highest. Just the stun abilities from both of them is just too valuable in Hero League. And the new addition here is now Tyrael. Tyrael, to me, is actually incredibly powerful because of the heavy emphasis on melee right now. What I mean by that is, like, Zul is a heavy pick right now, Greymane is a heavy pick, Thrall, Illidan. These are the picks that we're seeing a lot of in Hero League. And Tyrael does a really good job with Sanctification of just countering that engage and shutting the other team down. So I think that Tyrael is a really strong pick because of that reason, and he also pairs really well with these melees. So the same here is that we just talked about him playing well against, he plays well with, and for me that's what makes him a tier 1. With this hero in general though, if you do not play him properly, then he can be weaker. So it's a tough case here. So if you use him well, he's tier 1, right? If you use him kind of subpar, then he's probably tier 3. So keep that in mind. But for me personally, he's a higher warrior if I can't take one of the other 2 tanks. So just going into assassins, I still think Li Ming is the best. Resets are just too valuable in Hero League. Like one out of position, QW on an assassin in the backline or something can just cause a chain of resets, and you can just win a game. And that's why Li Ming is so good. The other people have gotten better at her and dodging her stuff. It still only takes one combo. So that's why I think, it takes one person getting a text message from their girlfriend or whatever and looking away. So I think for that reason, Li Ming's a high pick. Hold on, give me 1 second. I think my window is open. Sorry, there's some construction or something going on outside. So next up is Thrall. Obviously he's still insane because of Sunder. His wolf, his lane is really good, his damage is really good. Everything about Thrall is just really good. If you guys watch Worlds, Thrall is a heavy pick. Same goes for Greymane. The great thing about Greymane is his damage can't be dodged. So it's all, it's all damage that's going to hit the cocktail into the ult. That's guaranteed damage. And if Greymane is allowed to go Worgen and punch stuff, then, it's pretty effective. Next up is the newest addition, Illidan. After his buffs, although he's no longer as tanky, if you can have your team draft a few picks around you, like a Tassadar or something, then he immediately becomes strong. So he's a good pick, I would say, 90% of the time. If your team doesn't have a heavy support, then maybe he's not the best. But a lot of people in Hero League right now, if you take him, respect it and will hopefully pick picks that help you due to the new draft mode. And then, we still have our favorite friendly false ad. Just Gust is still really strong. The global is powerful if utilized correctly in Hero League. The two specialists, still the same as last patch, Zul and Zagara. I thought about having Sylvanas here, but I just don't think she's quite there. But I do really think that both of these specialists do still have a good effect on the game, especially Zul on the smaller maps where tight rotations are important, like Spider Queen and Dragonshire. And then Zagara, again, really strong on, going back to Dragonshire, solo lanes, winning your lane, Blackheart's Bay on bottom lane. Maps where laning is important, Zagara is a really strong pick in Hero League. And then our supports, I still think Rhaegar's the best. He's not as insane as he was, but I think he's still the best support in Hero League. And then the follow-up is Brightwing, just because of block. I think the block change, the spell shield change, and her globals are just very effective. And then Tassadar is up to tier 1 now, and because of that, the reason is the melee emphasis. He just pairs really well with a lot of the heavy melee hitters. Alright, so going into tier 2, these warriors are all effective at doing something. So Stitches, very good at hooking and getting catches. Chen, very good at laning and potentially getting a barrel pick. Joanna, I think with the buff to her block talent at level 1, maybe Night Takes Pawn isn't necessary on her anymore. She's still kind of on the fence, but I think I'd put her at tier 2. Her stun, having a stun ult is good to me. But the block change, I think people might start to utilize it. It's very hard to kill her if the player, sinks her block charges with her level 1 talent well. And then Sonya's still really good. She's just, you can't just pick her just to pick her. If your team doesn't have good picks, then she's a bit weaker. And with the change to Wrath, she's harder to play. She's actually not bad with Leap in Hero League. I've been using that recently, and I've had some good success with it. Assassins, these are assassins that are good, but they do things well. Zeratul obviously getting picks. Void Prism is really good. He has great pressure on the map early, just through his ability to be invisible and be anywhere. And by that I mean, if you're not showing, the other team doesn't know where you're at, so you can use that to control the flow of the map. Vala is probably the next best range assassin below the two Greymane and Li Ming above. Just good damage overall. Lunara is another one. She's more of I've always said she's a specialist damage, and she still to me is. If Lunar is attacking somebody, let's say your Thrall Sunders and you're Muradin stuns and Lunar is attacking the person, it's unlikely that the person will die, which is why I think Lunar is a specialist. Vice versa, if you had a Vala attacking the person, that person would probably be dead. So that's why I've always felt that way about her. KT is, I still think, a strong-ish pick. His wave clears really well. Chain Bomb punishes heavy melee teams, but yeah, not having Bolt is really bad, which is why Jaina got moved down to tier 3 even. So especially Sylvanas, she could be tier 1. I haven't got to play enough with her, but I think the changes to her numbers made her stronger for sure. Abathur, really good, pairs well with melee, has good clone targets at all the tier 1s. I think he's actually good, especially on certain maps like Garden and stuff. Nazebo, I just have him there because he's just really good in Hero League. His consistency to just deal damage you don't need a lot of skill to play him. And if you have skill, like, he seems a little bit better, but even if you don't, you can just summon Gargantuan and their spiders and be effective. The three supports, again, these are all supports that do things well, but they're not, they don't do everything. Uther, D-Shield, good for enabling Greymane. Good burst heals. He's got a stun. It's good for follow-up. Tyrande, she's got the follow-up stun as well. She does well with, like, Muradin, etc. She's better on, maps like Battlefield. Malfurion, he does better with, sustain teams, pokey teams, Li Ming, Zagaras. He does a good job of protecting backline and trying to keep the front line topped off. Tier 3s, these are niche, so these are even more niche than Tier 2. Dehaka is a good example of this. Like, although he has great global presence, which is why he's there, he's, like, not good at doing damage and stuff, in my opinion. Maybe I haven't got to play enough with him. But I'll be honest, like, everyone's not taking him in Hero League because people don't know where he's at, really. I've tried. I think he's a second tank, so he's more like a Sonya. So when you think of him that way, maybe he's better than where I have him, and maybe this is the one that might change, I think, on my tier list. It's just going to take a little bit longer for both me and the community to play him more. But, Leo, really good at catching in tombs. He's got good wave clear. He can die and come back. These are always good things. The only problem is, like, he has a hard time dealing with a lot of the melee assassins. They'll just step up to Leo and just kill him. Anub'arak, his stuns are good. His locust is pretty good. Web can be good sometimes. He's just a weaker tank, so he can't step up in frontline very well. Same with Arthas. He can't really frontline. He's actually pretty good against Illidan. I had an Arthas game where I won last night, but against an Illidan, but he just, it just feels like, why would I take him over, Muradin or etc. So, Assassins, Jaina still got good wave clear, good slow, but she lost her bolt, which is a big deal. A really big deal, actually. And then, they moved Ice Block to 20, so she didn't even get that at 13. So those two changes moved her down, but she's still the same hero, just not as strong. Raynor, just auto-attacking in general right now is kind of meh. Like, why would I take Raynor when I could take Vala? They auto for the same damage, and Vala has magic damage. Cho'Gall, I think this one's kind of explains itself. I mean, if you have a duo queue or something that you can play Cho'Gall well with, like, by all means go for it, but I'm not going to advocate for you to take Cho'Gall and win Hero League games and gain MMR. Kerrigan, like, this is still niche to me. I know that I play her a lot, but if you can't play her well, or you pick her on the wrong map, she's pretty bad. So just keep that in mind with her. That's why I have her there. Specialist, Vikings. Again, this is kind of like Kerrigan. On certain maps, this pick is insane. On other maps, it's terrible. So same goes for Murky. He's okay. He can be good on D-Shire to lane top or something, but most of the time it's a pretty weak pick. And then Hammer, I had her high before, but, like, she can just get dove this patch, and for that reason, she's kind of whatever. Malfurion should not be here. This should be a medic. So I meant to move that down. So medic is tier 3 because of the heavy emphasis on melee. Like, Thrall and Illidan are probably going to be on the enemy team, and if they're not, then Muradin and etc will be. So you're probably in, like, Greymane, same. Like, medic just has a hard time right now. Like, if she steps up or if she shows, like, the other team just pounces. So for me, that's why medic has gotten weaker. Maybe in the lower tier game, she's still really effective, and she's pretty good behind, like, a double front line, like a double tank. But if you're playing, like, the basic, like, support, tank, melee assassin, specialist assassin, like, team comp, that's kind of a basis right now, then medic doesn't do that well in that comp. So don't pick her in Hero League, like, without knowing that you might get punished for taking the pick. And then Monk, I think, is probably better than I have him. Just in Hero League, people just don't utilize him well. Like, in competitive, I think he's really good, but Hero League, he's just too tough. I don't know, he seems too hard. Like, his healing isn't enough in team fights when people need it. So I've kind of lost faith in him in Hero League. He's not like Uther or something like that. Like, palm is really good, trust me, but most of the time you palm the person and then they just die again. So that's what I'm saying. It's not like competitive where like you might palm the person and the other teams use all their cooldowns and your team re-engages. Like, it's not like that really in Hero League. It's like you palm the person, your teammates are running away because they don't care about that person that's dead. And then that person that you palm just re-dies. So yeah, it's just kind of whatever. Tier 4s, these are just the bad heroes, in my opinion. Artanis is actually okay on Battlefield for Eternity because of his blind and his level 1 talent, but other than that, he's whatever. Once he gets his charge change, I think he'll be insane. And Rexar is another one. Just he needs a buff to his damage. Like, his numbers need to be higher. Butcher is pretty good, low MMR, but high MMR, he'll just get blown up. Like, why take him over Thrall or Illidan or even Zeratul or Sonya or any melee that isn't Butcher. Tychus, like, the minigun change was cute, but you know, there's a reason people didn't play auto attack Tychus before. It's because his range is too low. It just makes you out of position. Nova, she's actually kind of fun with a snipe build, but I just feel like, why would I take her over all the other range? Specialist, Gazlo. I think, like, if you're a good Gaz, you can actually get away playing him with the changes, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe that should be moved up to tier 3. That's another one that I'm kind of on the fence. I just haven't got to see enough Gazlo or care enough about Gazlo to have him higher up. And then Asmo, he's the same as Gaz. Like, you know, it's like you have to get stacks on him. Is that super effective? Are you going to get stacks? Probably not. Is splitting going to work? It might, you know, but you don't want it. You want to affect the game. You don't want to just let the game have an effect on you. You want to, you know, put an effect on the game. So Asmo does not do that. And then Lily, you know, if you can't play support, go for it. Yeah, that's like the only reason you should be playing Lily. I guess the blind's okay against Illidan, but once you blind the Illidan, he's just gonna kill your team. So maybe in the late game, she's like the special tech with Kung Fu that Illidan never can kill her. But even then, I just don't find her that effective. But that's kind of the Dehaka patch for me. Again, the bolded heroes are the ones I like. I'm going to update my build list, so by the time you guys see this video, it should be updated for the new patch. But other than that, yeah, nothing's really changed. I'm very excited to keep playing Hero League. After getting back from Worlds, like, I've had this huge urge to keep playing and getting better. So this is my list, though. If you watch my stream, you'll see me pick a lot of the tier 1s. It's just the way I like playing. That's just me. And if you're trying to get in more, I would advise to take the tier 1s and potentially the tier 2s if they fit right, then they're good picks. But other than that, that is my video. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna try to make a vlog here soon. I need to put together a lot of the videos that I shot during my trip and stuff like that. But for now, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the Dehaka patch. It is a lot of fun. Maybe I should make a tier list for bans. I know a lot of people always talk about synergies and picks like that, so maybe that's something to kind of go into. But you know, if you watch this video, you'll kind of get an idea of why heroes are strong, and you can kind of give an idea of if a hero is strong against my hero, maybe I should ban it. Just like a quick example would be like, if you have Zeratul, you can ban Tassadar. It's an easy ban. This makes sense. That's the stuff you need to start thinking about. I don't think I can really make a guide for that, but maybe it's something that people would be interested in. Maybe I don't know how I can come up with an idea like that, but we'll think about it. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy like the patch and all the changes. I know I have been. If you guys want to continue to follow me, you can always check out my Twitch page and my Twitter. They'll both be located below. So you can always check those out. You can follow me, come ask me questions on my stream. You can always tweet at me. I do my best to tweet at people whenever you tweet at me, so I'm pretty active on my Twitter. But that about does it for me. So thank you guys all. I hope you enjoyed the tier list today, and best of luck in your Hero League games. I hope they go well, and you guys can all achieve rank 1. So with that said, I'm out. So cheers, guys. All right, goodbye.